Hey.
All right, now that I'm not singing anymore, I'm not going to catch that.
I preferred you singing.
Nope. He allegedly gave the victim Plan B after the condom broke on one occasion. What is this?
We should keep this in.
Man, sorry, TMZ popped up. I don't know why I'm getting this. All right, anyways. Hey, yo.
What's up?
Welcome to episode, what are we, 19?
22.
22. The Tyjae Spears edition
Yeah.
of the Who Effin' Knows podcast.
The official pod of Tulane fans everywhere.
Hell yeah. I like that.
I literally had nothing. I didn't even think about that.
That's totally fine. Mine was going to be a lot darker, so I like that one. It's been a weird week. It's been a great week, but it's been a weird week. Tulane won, first of all. Won the Cotton Bowl. For anybody who doesn't know by now, it's been a whole fucking week almost.
Yeah. Should we start with should we start on a somewhat somber note and then we'll end high?
I want to start with something random.
Okay.
And then we'll get into whatever the hell you're talking about. Okay. I know you don't like king cake. I like king cake. My plan coming in was to be.
We should save this for overrated.
No, okay. I don't want to because I have a comparison.
All right, go ahead.
This is what happens when we don't talk ahead of time, which we never do, about what we're going to talk about.
Go ahead.
No, the question I have for you to kick off the podcast today, and then we can talk overrated, underrated, whatever. I don't have anything for that. So, what is worse, in your opinion, actual king cake or the Pelicans mascot king cake baby?
Actual king cake.
Okay. Fair. I think that's wrong, but yeah, that's fine. I'm glad we had that conversation. Yeah. What do you got?
Oh, well, I just figured, we should first start off with Damar Hamlin.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that real quick because that happened while we're gone. A lot has happened.
Yeah.
In between the last two. So everybody knows, what happened. Just wanted to, thoughts and prayers and all those things. Kind of a crazy situation. We were out when it happened, and I got to be honest with you, we were watching the Pels game, and I don't even remember the last 6 minutes of the Pels game.
No, it was so weird. Your article that you wrote summed it up perfectly. I was explaining that to my wife the next day too. I was like, it was so weird. We're in the middle of a bar, and we're all watching the Pels game. Pels are losing, whatever, but we're still just watching. And then all of a sudden, everybody slowly stops watching the Pels game, and you hear whispers what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Is he dead? What is it? It was the craziest thing.
Yeah, there was there was big, the Rose Bowl was going on at the time, and everybody just stopped. It was weird to be in that setting with that happening. It was for a minute there, it was the most depressing night I've ever had at a bar because they just kept replaying it on the TVs and the mood was just getting killed. I know you kept saying you were tired of talking about it.
I was because it was just man, this sucks. What can we do? Nothing.
Yeah. But on a more positive note with that, I saw today he got the breathing tube taken out. He's starting to talk again. So I'm glad that's all happened between then and now so that we can at least be somewhat uplifting about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I saw that earlier today.
But on a bigger note from that moment, I wondered what you think about does it change anything as far as football?
Yes.
No, so okay, with the NFL, and then I want to get your thoughts on your son's a little older, so you're not really necessarily making the decision of whether you want him to play, what you want to let him play and stuff like that. I guess for the first time,
right?
But obviously I've been thinking about that. Mm-hmm. A lot. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you think it changes anything as far as maybe new rules, whatever, and then your thoughts from a parent perspective on it?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. New rules, yes. I was telling my wife this yesterday, because and I'm not going to dive into this, but there was a discussion she was mentioning that other people were having about, it was vaccine related, blah blah blah, and I was like, no, but we don't have to go into that, whether it is or it isn't. I think, every year they have, you have your conditioning tests, you have all these things, And unfortunately, there's always going to be these outside situations where random conditions pass through. In my opinion, I think you're just going to see more of a focus on if there's any type of issue in that test or anything specifically. I think they're just going to hone in more. They're going to dive in deeper into like preseason physicals, health and wellness.
Did it ever come out whether he had any kind of
I don't know
preconditioning thing?
I don't know. Yeah, I can't speak to that.
I think I saw that, they were testing for certain things to see. But to me, it feels like there's some, like a rule change or something. Like you're saying, something can be done. But it feels like it was just a wrong place, like it's. I've heard of it happening in other sports, but it's usually like it happened in hockey before with like a puck hitting the guy right there. It's usually like small objects.
Yeah, it happened in basketball. I think it was college or high school.
And I listened to somebody else say that like youth baseball players now are starting to wear things on their chest.
Yeah, you see that a lot.
But I don't know. I kind of brushed it off. I'm sure you saw like the thing with Bart Scott. Like he was catching some flack for kind of blaming T. Higgins a little bit.
That's crazy.
But he was saying something about like a certain move he did. They're trying to get out of the game or something like that. I didn't listen to it because I was like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something. You can't. All he did was lower his shoulder into the tackler. So like you can't take that out the game.
No, there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can change about that. The way that play developed,
right,
to prevent that from happening. Like I genuinely maybe like adding a different type of protective garment.
Yeah, I think you see more if there's anything to come from it. Like you're saying, more equipment. But then again, like we already see, like the players have knee pads and stuff that they're supposed to wear.
Yeah, they don't even wear
it. And right. So, like, do they want to wear it? I don't know. I wonder. Like I said, I wonder if in my article, I wonder if it affects just players on a week-to-week thing. Like, how long does it take them before they, maybe just in the game, they just naturally forget about it? And
yeah, sadly, I think that everybody's going to move on. Like it's gonna slowly.
The machine just keeps on.
Yeah, you've seen rolling, guys break their neck. You've seen guys get. Tua had a very scary concussion earlier this year, and nobody people batted an eye, but like the next week it was like, okay, back to normal, and here we are with Tua, basically like maybe his career's over because he's having another.
But at the same time, we see concussions all the time. It was what this was like. We didn't. You never see, at least in our lifetime, never seen anything like that. And like to hear players like Mark Ingram the next day was on Kay Adams' podcast, and he said he was getting calls from his wife, his parents, like, "Hey, maybe it's time for you to hang him up." And
well, it's scary.
Yeah,
I mean, for everyone, it's scary when you see something like that. It's scary. You think of yourself. You think of your family. You think of just all those situations that you never would typically think of. Anytime you see any type of traumatic event, right? It's gonna make you think deeper, and reconsider some things. I don't know. Getting into the parent perspective, like that probably is a good way to shift gears, right? Like you're thinking about your son and like what he's gonna play. Do I think it changes things from that perspective? Absolutely, because parents everywhere are always going to be concerned with their children getting injured
already we're heading in that direction.
I was going to say it's already a thing with football in general. I mean, for sure. But, my son, unfortunately, it's not really a concern for me. I don't think my son's not super interested in playing tackle football. Would I have let him play? Probably. It's up to him. And this is a freak accident. I'm not one to get caught up on things where like it's like 0.005% chance. Like it is what it is. Like I could literally drop dead while you're watching me right now. Like it just happens.
Right. Yeah, I guess and like we just said, I never really thought about this before now, is we just named 2 other sports it happened in, or 3 other sports that it's happened in. And honestly, it's probably happened in every sport. Like I think it's happened in soccer. I don't really watch soccer like that, but I think I've heard it's happened in soccer before.
Until you mentioned the chest plate for baseball, I wasn't thinking about it. I remember when I was young, 20s, I remember hearing that there was like not a rash of things happening, but like a lot of kids were dying because they were getting hit in the chest.
Yeah.
And I didn't even connect the dots until just now.
Yeah, I grew up. I had a guy on one of my team's guy, a kid on one of my teams when I was growing up. He only had one kidney, and he had to wear a special pad around his kidney because if he took a hit, he was a left-handed batter, so it was his right one. So it was like the one that was always in the line of fire, and he had to wear a special pad there because if he took a direct hit there, it would cause like a serious situation. So I mean, it's I don't know, but it's just something I thought about. Like I already think about it all the time. Like what do I want to let him play? And I guess like you're saying, it's got to be up. Just leave it up to him. Let him.
It's kind of how I feel now. If you want to talk, I understand football specifically. People worrying about head trauma because that's not something that's like as rare. Like I mean, I can remember playing football, and I definitely had some concussions while I was playing football as a kid. And you were taught, and it's like the bravado around the game of like you're not hurt, like you're gonna play through it, like you're tough it out. That was kind of always, even in sports in general, but specifically football, that was kind of always the mentality. And I don't think in a sport like football you can ever get away from that. You could pretend you can, but I don't. It's a very physical game. We still ooh and ah over big hits, even if they're outlawed.
We still get excited over big hits.
Yeah, like it just is what it is. So I think with football specifically, like, yeah, you're going to, parents are going to worry about that. But other sports, like, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, just wanted to, get your perspective on that. Like I said, he's doing better now, it seems.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Whether he ever plays again is a question. But, yeah, glad to hear he's doing better. No easy way to segue from that to anything, kind of lighthearted. But I do have a couple stats I can throw at you to get in this, more sports stuff.
Let's do it.
A couple Brady stats.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want you to tell
about Brady for.
Well, which one of these is more impressive to you? All right.
All right.
Stat number 1. Tom Brady has now spent more days of his life as an NFL quarterback than he has days of his life not being an NFL quarterback. Stat number 2. He's never started a game in his career where his team wasn't in playoff contention.
Wow. Which one's more impressive? I think stat number 2 is more impressive.
You think so?
Yeah, because like longevity is impressive for sure, but like.
But we're talking a different type of longevity.
When you're talking like they're both longevity technically. Like the first one you're talking, oh, he can play for a long time. Okay, cool. Like there's kickers that have played for a long fucking time.
True.
But he's playing for a long time and also being in playoff contention.
Yeah, right.
Like that's
right.
insane.
When you put it that, yeah, you're right. Number 2 for sure.
Let's combine the two. Yeah, that's fine. That's nuts. I don't know.
I was more blown away by the second one also. Especially when you look at it like this year. His team is not good.
Oh, they're terrible.
Just luck of the draw that he's still playing games that are playoff contention. That's hilarious. But
Whatever.
Yeah, anyway.
Do you want – so I was going to lead off with Tyjae Spears.
Let's go.
Since it was like the number 22 episode.
Let's go.
I was like, oh, the Tyjae – that just naturally came. I was like, Tyjae Spears edition. Tulane won the Cotton Bowl. Congratulations. Fucking phenomenal. I was riding a wave, literally and figuratively. I can't talk today. I've had too much coffee, but you know what I mean. It was phenomenal. It was crazy. We're watching it at home. We had it on it at my house, and shit, it was the fourth quarter, and I think we kicked an onside kick. Yeah, I think we kicked the onside kick, and I'm like, well, it's fun while it lasted.
There was 8 minutes left in the game, and he sat back on his counter and was like, well, Tulane lost, and we started planning it might not have been 8 minutes. I think it was like 5 or 6. And he was like, we should start planning our next move because we were going to go watch the Pels game.
Yeah.
And and I'm not even going to say it was just you because I was like, yeah, it is what it is.
At the time, well, Marcelo had left.
Right.
You just kind of, it felt like the energy was like, we're never going to, it just doesn't matter because we can't stop them. Like, we're never going to catch up. Like, we could keep scoring, but it's not going to matter.
And we had accepted it because we both said coming into the game, like, just make it, our hope was that you could just look like you belong. And they had done that.
Which they did, yeah. So I was fine with it.
Right. I had mentally reached the point where I was like, you know what? Not going to ruin my day.
Yeah.
At all.
It was when I think they dropped the ball and it goes out of bounds at like the 1. I was like, I kind of looked at the TV sideways like, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah. On that note, we got to do something about these streaming services being so like not on the same page here. Yeah. We sit there and my watch just keeps going off and I know when a big play is coming because we sit there and we're about to kick off and I'm getting text messages saying, oh my God, what what a turn of events. And I'm like, they didn't even kick the ball off yet. Like, what did I miss?
So it's funny because like all the group chats I'm in, everybody knows that I have Hulu Live and it's a little behind. So instead of them telling me anything, they just send eyeballs. So it's like you don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but you know something's about to happen.
Right. Well, not even. And then we got to the point where I just turned my phone upside down because I didn't want to see it when we were getting to like the game winning or the last two drives. And still, like I can hear it buzzing, I can feel it going off on my wrist. Whenever I feel myself get 5 text messages at one time,
it's like something's happening.
I was telling you and Ethan that I had to do the same thing for when they were doing the draft for, the lottery for when we got Zion, and I knew the ESPN app was going to be ahead of time, so I put my thumb over the top of my phone to not be able to see the results.
That was a wild ride too. But no, it was awesome, man. It was crazy. It was cool to celebrate. It was weird that later that night the situation with Hamlin happened, but it was still a wild ride and fun. What I wanted to talk about though is, Tyjae Spears had 4 touchdowns in the game. He goes for 200 plus, I think. Do you think he has done enough? Which it's a dumb question if you look at his stats, but do you think he's done enough to warrant a second day pick?
I think I read he's actually tied for first.
He is.
Is it rushing touchdowns?
He's
or
tied for first in touchdowns in general.
Nice. I think it was 21.
I think it's touchdowns in general. Maybe I'm wrong. It could be rushing.
Whatever it
touchdowns,
was, it was
21. Way, it's fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's insane. Well, if you want to throw more stats out there, so I was going to say, do you think he's done enough? 8 games this year, he had 100 plus yards. His last 4 alone, he had over 180. Where do you think he gets drafted? Like, what day do you think he's done enough to warrant actually being looked at as like a top back in the draft?
I'd say day 2. Was it second and third round?
Consensus online right now is day 3, which I disagree with. I think talent-wise, now he's undersized.
Yeah.
He's going to be looked at.
But doesn't he feel, he feels like somebody, is he, I'm assuming he's in a Senior Bowl.
He is in the Senior Bowl. He got invited to the Senior Bowl.
So he could be somebody that stands out there.
Yeah.
Like everything he feels like, all right, so realistically, he's absolutely getting drafted. Or he should.
Yeah.
Should get drafted. You would think between that and then just the combine, he does enough. Like I would imagine he has he could have a 40 that kind of blows people away or shocks some people.
I don't know if he's fast. He's not super fast.
Yeah,
he's fast enough. He's not slow.
Yeah, maybe he's one of those people. I don't actually know what his 40 time is. He could just be one of those people that game speed is just
I was looking
faster.
at
Like Alvin has a slow
40
time, but in game speed, he's like, all right.
I forget what website I was looking at earlier, but somebody had him clocked at a 4.4.
Which
is fast. It's
that's
fast
solid,
enough. Yeah. It's not like blazing fast, but it's fast.
Yeah.
I think the thing with him is I think he's going to wow a lot of people at the Senior Bowl. I think people don't realize how balanced he is and how strong he is for his frame. That's the 2 things that I think are going to carry him through that people aren't realizing.
He's a dual threat guy. He can do both. You've seen him. He's not just like an outside runner.
No.
I'm trying to think of like a comp to him.
It's hard because I think somebody was like Darren Sproles, but it's not.
No, he's bigger than Sproles.
Yeah, it's an odd. I don't know. It's hard to. I can't really compare him to anybody.
This is kind of not to say he's like on this skill level, but size wise, it's like a Barry Sanders build. Smaller, shifty.
Yeah. He doesn't play like Barry Sanders.
No, but I'm strictly talking size.
Right.
I'm trying to think of people in that mold, like under. He's not as solid as Alvin is. He's not as big as Alvin is, I don't think.
No.
So it's weird. It is a weird
work done
thing, but I don't think yeah, maybe.
That's the first name that came to mind. Tiki Barber. I'm just picking out random smaller backs that were like solid.
Maurice Jones-Drew was too much of like a bowling ball.
He's solid.
It's just I'm hoping sometimes it's like these teams get. I said maybe the combine would help him, but like you're saying, maybe his numbers aren't blow people out the water. And sometimes it feels like teams overreact to that. Like sometimes it's easier to evaluate a player than they make it to be.
I
like,
agree.
You just watch the tape.
Yeah.
Like when Deshaun Watson
dominate?
When Deshaun Watson was coming out of college,
it was obvious.
Everybody was like, "This guy's gonna be good."
Yeah.
But for some reason, like I don't even remember what it was about him that people were like, "Yeah, he's not gonna be good."
I don't want to get into what I think it was.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but like strictly, just sometimes you just watch somebody play and you're like, yeah, this guy can play. Like it doesn't make sense why people.
If you look back, so he's had some injuries. That's probably why he's not as high on people's radar, because he just hasn't been able to showcase his skills enough. But if you look back at last year, before he got hurt, I mean, he plays Oklahoma, and he puts up over 200 yards against Oklahoma last year in the first game of the year, almost beats the number 2 team in the nation. This year, against all of the best teams, he put up over 200 yards.
That's what's most impressive. Against the best team they played this year,
yeah,
he just put up 200 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And if you go even deeper than that, not even just the best team he played this year, the best teams he played this year. If you look at the last 4 games, it's 4 of your toughest opponents. I mean, they had a rough stretch. They had to beat some of the best teams in their conference.
Right. Let's like give Michael Pratt, all those other guys credit, give the defense credit. This team has only done what it did because of Tyjae Spears.
Sure. Well, and you know what's really interesting though? People are worried about him leaving, but like they're loaded. They have so many good running backs on this team. Like, I think you're going to be surprised next year with the guys that come through. You're going to be like, holy shit, like, these guys are good too.
Well, and like we've talked about in the past, like, you have this kind of success, it's only going to attract people. I was so the podcast I listened to for Miami recruiting, I follow the guys on Twitter that do it, and they're like recruiting experts, but they do Miami. And when Tulane won, one of them tweeted out that Tulane was like in the running for 2 of the top running backs in the country, and that the last second they switched to go somewhere else.
RBU.
But it was like 2 of the best running backs in the country, and or maybe it was the state. I don't remember, but it was like 2 top running backs. Like people are starting to look at Tulane as a real program. And then like these transfer portal guys, like maybe if Tyjae gets drafted, which we should.
He will.
If Deuce gets on the squad, like all these guys, if they get on a team, then the transfer portal guys might be like, you know what, I can go there, get enough exposure, because that's all most of the transfer portal guys are trying to get.
Right.
They're like, we can go here, probably dominate because they're they're a little better.
You're also seeing. I think that that's kind of a good transition too, right? Like there's so much momentum with this Tulane program right now. They've never been able to really take advantage of it in the past. They've got a little momentum in the past, and they were never able to really take advantage of it to the effect you would think they would. I mean, they have the new stadium-ish. Yeah. They have a lot of dollars coming in now, though, is what I'm getting at, both NIL and towards just the program in general. There's rumors that they're going to upgrade some of the facilities. I think things like that are going to go a long way, too, with getting some of these guys in here and keeping guys. Yeah.
I think my hope for next year is I hope they can schedule a couple more good out-of-conference games, because like we thought, like the conference is going to get weaker. Yeah. As far as maybe not that's kind of a weird word, I guess, because like we said, SMU is going to get better because of the the people they brought in. Who else? There was 2 teams. There was SMU and somebody brought in a lot of good competition. So you'll have good teams, but it's not going to be as deep. So it's going to be like Tulane and maybe 2 other teams. Yeah. So that's going to, that kind of sucks for their in-conference schedule. So you hope they can get another K-State or like, 2 of those games on there would be nice.
They've been, I mean, I think you already know. I'd have to look up next year, like who they have. They'd have the bigger games already scheduled. Like some of those big out-of-conference games, they already have them set up. I'd have to look that up. I haven't even looked. I know we had a contract with Oklahoma, which I think is expired now. We had one with Ohio State. But I think they might be done now. I can't remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, either way, listen, they've got momentum. I think, hopefully you come in next year close to the top 25. I don't think they will. They're not going to leave them in the top 25. I don't think. But we'll see. It's an exciting time. You keep Willie Fritz. Your team's deep. You get Michael Pratt back. You get another lineman coming over from was LSU, I think it was.
I didn't see it.
Fuck, I can't remember. I might just be spitballing here. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. So I just figured we should talk about that for a second. That's all.
We talked about Tyjae. What about Deuce?
Yeah, you know how I feel about him from a talent.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because we just said sometimes you watch a game and it feels easy to just watch the tape. And like that's the best thing they can do is put something on tape.
Yeah.
And he's another one that we both agree is
yeah.
better.
I was gonna say, like, you know how I feel about him from a talent perspective. I think he's got all the talent in the world, especially when it comes to jump balls and high pointing the ball, things like that. He's got good hands. Hopefully, there's a scout that sees that and they take a chance on him. I say take a chance on him. I don't think it's taking a chance, but I think he also runs the risk of being a very late round pick, or maybe even being a undrafted free agent,
but,
just because he hasn't had the notoriety.
Yeah, but we've seen it with the Saints all the time. Sometimes that's good. You can choose your spot where you're gonna go be good. I think I'm willing to bet this could be possibly like the highest number of Tulane players drafted. I don't know what that is. Maybe there's teams from the past, but on the defensive side, you got you'd imagine Nick Anderson gets drafted.
I think
they might all be late round guys.
Actual like drafted, and then also draft position wise, maybe. I mean, obviously you're not going to see like the Matt Forte or like the Patrick Ramsey or JP Lawson from years past, but the amount, the quantity with the level that they get drafted at, I think maybe it might be one of the better draft classes. Yeah. It's hard. It depends how you want to rate it, right? But yeah, I agree. I mean, there's been a lot of guys that have come out over the last decade, though, that are in the NFL right now. I mean, that you typically haven't seen. Like, normally it would be like 2 guys in the league from Tulane. But over the last 10 years, there's probably like 20 guys in the league right now.
Darnell Mooney is one of the better receivers. But he was another one. We talk about 2 spots. Like, he didn't get a lot of love coming out. Like, he was kind of highly rated, but he was one that you could watch and be like, yeah, this guy's going to be good. Like, he's just a good receiver. Yeah. And I thought he was underdrafted at the time. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good for Tulane, man.
We'll see. We can circle back to this after the draft and maybe say, oh, this many Tulane players got drafted, which would be cool. Do you want to move on to the Pelicans, or do you want to move on to your Saints rap? Dave wrote a rap song.
I did not write a rap song. I don't know how to answer that.
So Dave downloaded an app. I think it was an AI app. Tell me about the app.
Apparently, it just went live in the last couple days.
Sponsored by.
I don't know that much about it, to be honest. I'm in a group chat, and one of my fantasy league group chats, and they started talking about it. It's called Chat GPT. And they're they're writing raps about, they're all Cowboys fans. So they're writing raps about the Cowboys. There's one Eagles fan who had them trash talk Cowboys fans in like Shakespeare type language. So that was fun.
So I guess my question is, what information do you have to put into this app?
Nothing.
In order for it to write
all I did was give me a rap on write a rap song about why the Saints should fire Dennis Allen, and it fired out what it fired out.
Now read it to me.
All right, hold on, wait, I gotta find it.
I can find it. Hold on,
I got it right here. All right, so this is Chat GPT's rap about why the Saints should fire Dennis Allen.
Fuck yeah, you don't have to read the whole thing if you don't want to. But
all right, it starts. The Saints should fire Dennis Allen. His defense is a total disaster. His schemes are outdated, and his play calling a bore. It's time to make a change and open the door. Yeah. The chorus. Fire Dennis Allen. It's time to make a stand. The Saints need a new leader to take them to the promised land.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Bars.
That chorus. Fucking bars, like you said. That's a banger.
But this thing is kind of
let's make a beat and rap.
No. It's kind of wild what it can do. Like, I planning on playing with it a little bit. I didn't see it. I put in, I don't remember what it said, but I was like, make me a tweet promoting the latest episode of our podcast.
Okay.
And it like puts it out. It gives you the hashtags and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, it's wild.
Did you put it out? Did you put the tweet out?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, okay.
But I might do it again later.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Maybe I'll put out one from me and one from them and see if you could spot the difference.
I want to see if I can. It sounds like it's spot on.
It is. It's very good. They're all in like insurance and stuff, and they were like, oh, we should use this for like prospecting and things like that. Like, you probably have it somewhere you could do. Like, yeah. It gave me I was like asking for like cold call scripts and stuff, and it was putting them out. I like it pretty good.
That's funny.
Yeah. So there was that. Chat GPT. Download it. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Use our code. Dave. No, I'm just playing. That's cool. I just wanted to bring it up. Dave sent that to me.
The full thing is on my Twitter.
Yeah.
So if you go to my Twitter, I'll retweet it on the podcast thing too, so everybody can see it because it is funny.
It's funny. Dave sent it to me literally as he's driving over here to record this, and I was like, "Oh, fuck."
And it only took
we have to
about
talk
15
this.
seconds for it to generate this whole song. The best part is it like it reads it to you as it does it, so it was almost like it was actually rapping it to me.
Like in a robot voice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'll have to listen
Like
to that.
imagine Siri, but not as smooth.
Okay. This will come out after probably, but the Pels have the Nets tonight. There's probably a lot.
What
to
a
talk
game
about.
that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, all right. No, so yeah, they play the Nets tonight.
I can't try and predict because I have no idea. So I'm not even gonna.
I don't know what this team.
Ask Chat GPT what's gonna happen in the game tonight. Maybe it'll tell us. No. So they have the Nets tonight. Maybe by the time you guys have seen this, obviously the outcome will already be out there. But prior to that game, let's preface with that. Prior to that game coming in, you have Zion out, you have BI out still. Is there concern down the stretch? The Pels have a little bit of a lead going down the stretch here. I say a lead. They're not like the number one team, but, there's about 6 games up now on 6th place, I think it is. Or maybe I'm just I don't know, spitting shit out, but I think it was something like that. Couple interesting stats before you even start talking. They are, what was the record? 7-2 without Zion, 15-8 without BI this year. And without both of them, they're 5-1.
I will say, every time one of them gets hurt, or anybody on the team gets hurt, we're like, fuck, this is about to be a rough stretch. And then it's not.
You know what I've seen?
Now, I don't remember who they've played in those stretches of time, but it feels like we've had a pretty rough schedule to this point. So I'm just assuming they were good wins.
I keep thinking, it's interesting you say that, the schedule-wise thing. I keep thinking, we had a rough part of our schedule. Like, it's going to get easy, right? And then I look ahead and I'm like, God damn, like, when does it get easy?
They hate us.
Like, we have a back-to-back here. We play this first place team, and then we play this team.
Right.
And
Even when we played like a stretch of like subpar teams, it's like the craziest scheduling.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way. But they've been fortunate without both of them. They're 5-1 without both of them. I saw it last game, and I don't know where the hell I'm going to watch the game tonight. We might go to a bar, not a bar, but a little restaurant, bar and grill to watch. We don't have internet. Side note, I had a termite guy come out here and knock out my internet last night, so that was cool. But yeah, so we're going to try and watch the game somewhere tonight. But it looked like last game, CJ comes out in warm-ups, and you see a lot of the media guys talking about it, like he's just got a different look. And then he comes out and he's killing to start the game. Do you think you see that CJ moving forward? Is it going to be up and down?
I hope so. He definitely feels like he's finding his groove again. After his big game, we had the Sixers game, I think was the next one, right? Where he just had like a really bad game. Yeah. I think he only had like 7 points going into the fourth quarter. I don't know what he ended with. But, I mean, understandable after the game he had before that. But he seems like he's starting to find his groove again. I think he does well when he knows he has to step up.
Right. When he's not trying to find his place and he's just like, fuck it, we ball.
Yeah. I mean, and you could see it. Like we talk about it all the time. He's always going to take the shots he wants to take. But it does, I can't point it out, but something feels different about it when it's just him and the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
But it seems like every time they get hurt, like Jose had been in a horrible rut. And then last game when we need him to step up, he has a little bit of a bounce back game. The same with Trey. Like these guys, for something about it. Every time the guys go down, no matter what they've been doing the past few games, they always seem to step up when we need them to.
I think it's something that I was thinking while I was watching the game too. Maybe it's just the way the team fits together without the two stars. Is that there's a clear cut. CJ knows, okay, I'm the guy, so he feels better. Because he just feels natural. And then outside of that, the ball doesn't stick anywhere anymore. It's just like it's flying around. It's not guys like, it's my turn. It's my turn. It's just a bunch of dudes who are very talented. Yeah,
well, I mean, this doesn't really apply to BI, but when you lose Zion, you just have last year's team.
Yeah.
Like the second half of last year.
Which was still a good team.
Right, so you're not playing – it's not like other teams where they might have a new roster, and if their star goes down – they got to learn how to play together without that guy. If Zion goes down, this team's like, all right, we've been here. We have a lot of games together. So, there's the benefit of that, and then it's just last year's team, but the players are better because they just improved. So, that you have that. And now when BI goes down, you just lean on CJ. And then Trey and all these guys are better, like we're saying. They step up. Najee is Michael Jordan at this point when nobody plays, or Magic Johnson because he's the greatest passer I've ever seen. Like,
didn't he say he was the greatest passer?
He said
in the NBA or something?
He said Pelicans history.
Oh, okay.
And then he tweeted it out after. He said, "I forgot Rondo played for us, so second."
You know what's funny?
Little Chris Paul shade there.
Oh yeah. What's funny is like he has looked phenomenal. His passes have looked great recently. But there was a point in this season where I would watch him make some passes, and I'll be like, "Are we gonna have a conversation about some of these passes Najee's throwing?" Good God!
Like, he might have become, like, of the role players, like the most important one, because he's had to be. We talked about it in summer league. We were wondering, like, was he even going to get on the floor, because he did not look good in summer league. Yeah. And it's like when the season started, a completely different player.
He's been Rucker Park Najee all year.
Yeah, he looks like. I mean, he's turned into like an essential player. From how many players on this team have like legit 6-man of the year cases? Jose's kind of fallen off of that conversation recently, but like Trey, Najee,
right? I think potential wise. Now, obviously, stat wise, no, but potential wise, you have like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
like. That could, if they were put in the 6th role and given a bunch of minutes, like they could. I'm just,
I think they have too many.
Being an optimist,
they have too many good players coming off the bench to have one guy be in the running for that.
Yeah,
like Trey and Najee are never gonna, like, they're both good enough that they're not gonna be able to separate themselves to be that one guy.
Let's make a prediction right now. People are gonna see this after the Nets game. Who wins the Nets game? And who's the breakout player from the Pelicans in the game?
The Nets are coming off of a loss. That's what makes me, a little bit concerned. I was hoping they would win until they played us. I don't like that they're going to be trying to have their bounce back game against us. I think the Nets pull it out. Although Lyle's at the game and it's at home, so I'm changing it. The Pels are winning strictly because Lyle is there. No,
Lyle's the standout player of the game.
No, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna say the Pels. Like, my brain is telling me the Nets, but every time I think we're gonna lose because of injuries, we come out. And who's the standout guy? That's tough. Let's have a Dyson game.
Oh, hell yeah! This is not fair. In my head, I was just waiting on you to finish, and I already had my answer. And I was going to say Pels because I'm an optimist.
I don't necessarily mean points wise. Like he probably he's not going to lead the team in points.
I think it's just going to be one of those games where walking away, you're like, man, Dyson had a really freaking good game. Like, he played good defense. He had some good spots where he got rebounds. He had some nice passes. Like, you're just going to be kind of taken back.
It's another because you're gonna, and you know what? He's going to get a lot of minutes against Kyrie.
Yeah,
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, and against KD, he's going to guard both of them at some point.
Yeah. Well, you're
gonna get Herb. You're gonna get Dyson.
It's gonna be tough. This is similar to the Sixers thing where I think you just let KD do what he does, and
I think so too. And I'm also thinking outside of Dyson, I'm thinking Jose. I'm thinking you could see a big Jose game. Yeah. He's gonna come in thinking, oh, I'm gonna get under Kyrie's skin. I think if I know Jose, I'm gonna get under Kyrie's skin. I'm gonna get some turnovers. And then he's going to be that spark plug.
Do they have any bigs that – I mean, obviously, KD. I can't think of the rest of their lineup right now. They got anybody that can match up with JV?
Like, no, but I don't know. I feel like JV's
up and down. Who had the big game against them to begin the year?
BI.
We beat the brakes off of them.
I think BI did. It was the first game of the year.
That's true. We did have BI. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, but you didn't pick a winner. I'm assuming you're going.
Oh, Pels. I said Pels. Yeah.
Okay.
I said Pels and Dyson, but you had already said it, so I was like, fuck. Now I'm just dick riding. It's not fun.
It's gonna come down to somebody off the bench. The bench has to. I mean, granted, the bench is almost starting at this point, but somebody off of the current bench is gonna have to step up.
Remind me of our bench players again.
Right.
They're all in the starting lineup. Oh man. No, that's cool. honestly, that's all I've got from. I mean, we've been going for 30, 40 minutes probably.
40 minutes. I wanted to. There was one other thing I wanted to ask you about. Nothing crazy. We'll save baseball rule changes because I still haven't gotten to that yet.
Boring.
Hall of Fame.
Oh, so we did talk about this our very first episode, I think.
Now we have the finalists,
Yeah,
and it's like I don't even want to like get you to predict. Like we're just getting to the point where, so they put out the list of 15, and I'm looking at it, and only 5 can be picked from there, and I'm just like, good luck. Like that is not a job that I want.
Yeah.
To have to do that. I've said
Who's
this
on the list?
before.
Let me look.
I tweeted it out the other day. Like, I understand that we can't have a ceremony where 15 guys get inducted and
Right.
give a speech, but there's not a single person on that list that doesn't deserve to be. I'm laughing.
My daughter's at the door right now.
I was trying not to acknowledge it, but she's cracking me up.
My wife was supposed to be watching her. but,
It's all right.
It's all good.
But anyway, so I don't know. There's every single one of those 15 guys deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, like right now.
Yeah.
There's got to be there's got to be something we could do here to get them all in.
I'm looking at the list. I think, man, it's a tough list. I couldn't cut it down. You're not going to see Devin Hester get in yet.
No, because he was
Torrey Holt's not going to get in.
but he's the one that's been there for a while.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what I hate. Another thing I hate they do is like if they put a receiver in, so like say they put Andre Johnson in. It feels like they try not to do more than maybe 2 at a position, which is ridiculous.
Receivers in general get a tough break because of how stats have gone. Like, I think voters look at them slightly different, even though if you look at this list, I mean, these are some really fucking good receivers. You got Andre Johnson, who's a freak, Torrey Holt, who's one. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Devin Hester's one of the best
Hester,
kick returners
Holt,
of all
Reggie
time.
Wayne, Andre Johnson.
Yeah, like it's a list. But I don't think they get. I think Wayne doesn't get in yet.
The only 2 that I'm like, yeah, they should be in right this very second, without me being a little biased, is Revis and Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
Like, I personally think Andre Johnson deserves to be in right now because I've said it before. There was a time where it was like he was there with Megatron.
Yeah.
Like, it was a debate, and he did it with less talent at quarterback. And he even said it in a press conference today. I saw he was saying he didn't play with another Hall of Fame player on his team outside of like J.J. Watt, but obviously that's defense. So he did more with less, but.
Just it's such a tough list. Like,
but you see what I mean? Every one of these guys deserves to be in.
yeah, I don't think Patrick Willis gets in yet. It's gonna be some of these guys are gonna be like, oh, you don't need to get in yet. Like, you'll still have eligibility.
Darren Woodson could get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jari Evans made it to the round before this.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. Just I wanted to get that out there that something should change about the Hall of Fame because I think it's ridiculous that these guys have to wait. Like the fact that I know there was like a lot of stuff went into Terrell Owens and his Hall of Fame thing. It wasn't on the field stuff that, held it up for him. But like the fact that he didn't get in right away was just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's too good. Like, he's still at like 40. How old is he right now? 46 or some shit like that.
Something
still
absurd.
running like a 4.3.
Yeah.
Like, good God.
Yeah.
Looks like a freak of nature.
So change the Hall of Fame. Be better, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, be better, especially.
You're better than
Hall
the
of Fame.
Baseball Hall of Fame, though.
You
so
are.
That's
That's what I'm saying. That was the first thing I thought
They're
of.
better than the Baseball Hall of Fame, and not as bad as the NBA Hall of Fame, where everybody gets
Yeah,
in.
I was gonna say, like, there's NFL's like a happy medium, right? But like the NBA Hall of Fame also gets me because it's like, well, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame in general. It's just the Basketball Hall of Fame, which is fine.
WWE Hall of Fame, probably the worst.
Oh yeah, by far. They put in like random people that were famous for like 10 minutes.
I told you I've been down a rabbit hole of Broken Skull sessions, and he had Bailey on, and he was telling her she's a Hall of Famer, and I was like, I guess.
I mean, she is based on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I can make that argument. We could have that.
I don't know. I never. That's not when I was watching, so I don't know. But you think like, I'm trying to think like the last like big wrestlers that like come in when I was watching. I don't know.
Side note, I mean, not to go down the rabbit hole of the wrestling conversation, but they won't allow any wrestlers these days to be like big name wrestlers. Like, it's more of brand over over person as opposed to
outside
before
of, like,
it was
Roman
built.
Reigns right
Even
now.
Roman Reigns, like yeah, but like before it was built on the stars, and now it's like we're just gonna create our own stars. And
Is John Cena the last suit
yeah, I think
that
so.
like mega star?
I think so. And like I don't even think John Cena, like, he's kind of corny. But I guess wrestling in general is kind of corny.
I agree, but based off of like wrestling Twitter that I see, which is a weird conversation for us to get into, but based off of like wrestling Twitter, he seems to be like one of the most loved people of all time.
He's a good guy, it seems like just genuinely seems like a good dude.
I got cramp in my.
Oh, good for you. Potassium, man.
Ow.
Pickle juice. Okay. You got any overrated, underrated?
Mardi Gras.
Well, we already know overrated. Like we've talked about
This thing
I-
is kicking my ass
Really?
right now.
Fuck you. I don't know. I got nothing. Cold weather.
Overrated. Overrated.
You prefer it hot?
Yeah, I prefer it hot. I
Fair.
don't know why, but yeah, I prefer it hot. Sorry, I am struggling right now.
It's all right. We don't have any more overrated, underrated tonight.
Nah,
Well, I'll
it's
make a
fine.
plan. I'll get a list going. No top 5 either. You know what? I will. I'll give a little content here. Not overrated, underrated, not top 5. Since it's officially King's Day today, I know you're not a king cake guy. We may have talked about this before. Best king cake, Rendazzo's original. That's it. Miss me
yeah,
with
I don't-
everything else.
I don't have an opinion on that. I mean, I can tell you, I went get my wife one, and they had one from like all the big places around here, and that's what she chose. That's what my family always chooses. So
It's the one.
sure.
It's the one. And they're all basically the same. You could say, oh, which Randazzo's? I don't give a shit. They're all basically the same. Yeah, that's all I got. All the rest of them are kind of weird. Too much cinnamon, a little too dry, a little too flaky. Dong Fong, get out of here. Yeah. Haydell's, miss me with that, it's dry.
Marguerites was the other one they had.
Marguerites.
I don't. I know that.
I haven't had that one. I feel like I've heard of it, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have an opinion on this. I'm just letting you do your thing.
Cool.
Letting Pat cook.
Snowballs, overrated, underrated, properly rated.
Underrated. That's tough to say. They're either properly rated or underrated. Definitely not overrated. Snowballs are the shit.
Depends on the ice. Depends which stand you go to.
I could eat snowballs all year long.
We'll have the snowball conversation when it gets hotter, but I'm going to say properly rated.
I could have a snowball right now.
Nah, it's too cold for me right now.
You drink cold brew coffee.
It's gone. It's fine.
Yeah, but you drink. You can't tell me you can't. It's too cold for a snowball when you just drink cold.
Snowball's
I've never seen you drink hot coffee.
Well, you should have seen me today because I had like 3 cups of hot coffee. Yeah, I've been drinking coffee all day. I spotted up at the damn coffee shop because it had internet and I had to work. But yeah, I don't know. It's all ice, so like I don't know. That's all we got today. Until next time, find me at the Patty V. Find Dave.
The Dave Rainey.
There you go. We're on all platforms. Find us everywhere. Like, subscribe, comment.
Go buy you a Cotton Bowl shirt.
Yeah, buy you a Cotton Bowl shirt. Those are dope. 46.45, Tulane.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get sued.
Fuck 'em. Is that place even still around?
I don't know. I looked it up, like just trying to see, and I was like, you know what? This design is on like 40 other shirts in different ways, so like it's fine.
Technically, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything.
Don't incriminate yourself, which we probably already did. But yeah, that's all we got. Follow at Be in the Know on Twitter if you haven't already. We'll have some articles coming. I know that we just randomly put stuff out, so and it feels like there's big stuff coming too, just in general with the brand, with the No brand. So feel free to follow there. We're doing more and more lately. So
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Go Pels.
Go Pels. Roll wave.